I love New York City, and it's a great place to live. It's never finished. I think that's what I like about it the most. It's always evolving. All different periods live together. There are all different types of neighborhoods that are colliding and influencing the city. There are people from all over the world who come here and they bring their cultures with them and they meld into this crazy place that we live in. And I like making things for New York City. I like making work that lives on the street. I like working on buildings that I can pass. I like creating places that people can go to and enjoy, whether it's a park like the High Line or working on Madison Square Park. I like the idea that the city will change, and because the city will change, that means I get to change too. New York City has really impacted the way I design, the way I think about design. It's done it in a bunch of different ways. One way is just the pure physicality of it. I mean, if you think about New York City logistically and geographically, you're talking about a sort of a complicated grid system where everything is very tightly packed and very dense, and that dimensionally things are tall and they tend to be thin the way buildings are. And if you actually look at my typography, I know this sounds crazy, but I have a tendency to put things in all caps. I use a lot of condensed letter forms, and I tend to pack them in. In 1979, I did this poster for all these jazz artists on CBS Records, and the poster was called The Best of Jazz, and everybody talked about it being influenced by constructivists, which to a degree it probably was, but I think it was more influenced by New York City, because the constructivists never packed the type in the same way. It was never that type. It was never that jammed. I mean, The Best of Jazz looks like one big traffic jam where there's gridlock. Another way New York City affects my work is it's made me want to make things that are enormous. I really respond to the scale of the city, and when I began doing my first work with city agencies in the 80s, I made banners for flagpoles, and I hung them up at Pentagram, and the artwork looked terrific, and the banners would be 12 feet high, and they just seemed like big, beautiful, gorgeous pieces of art that were going to be terrific on the street. And then I'd get them out on the street and they'd totally disappear, and they'd really be puny, because New York City is enormous, and to be seen in New York, it's got to be big and loud, and I love being in the mix of that. And I think the third way New York really affected my work is the sort of notion of a lot of opinion and a lot of yelling and a lot of layering of opinion, whether it's being bombarded by media or a cab driver playing some stupid reactionary program on his radio station and yelling at you at the same time, and a dog barking and a crazy person in the street, and it's all going at once, and you're hearing all of this sort of cacophony of different viewpoints, different attitudes, different ethnicities, all at the same time. And I find that sort of bombardment of media and humanity affected my painting. And when I began to paint maps, they really are layers of opinions and layers of populations, and I don't think I would have painted that kind of dense cacophony if I hadn't been living in New York City.